Guys, welcome back to episode 2. For those who made it through episode 1, and if you haven't, go back and listen and watch. Today, I get to announce our secret, not so secret, semi-full-time, hopefully, co-host, and it is Jimbo.
Yo, what's happening?
So, if he likes it, he's going to stay. If he doesn't, I'm going to beg him to stay, because otherwise I'm stuck with Jay. Who's already on strike 1. We'll put the outtakes on later. So first off, who is Jimbo?
I am a Sparky.
So goes the myth.
Yeah, true. That does some social media, and that's about it. Same as
some social
media.
Right, so he's already playing himself down. I've done it again. I'm doing it, Jay. I'm knocking a table. So he's already playing himself down. So some social media. You want? Let's talk through your social media, shall we? How did your social media journey start?
TikTok. It all started with a pencil, a tracer pencil. Bought a new pencil, videoed it, put up on TikTok, got like 100k views. That was it. And then I just started doing tools. So I've always been a big fan of tools.
Yeah.
So it was that simple, just recording them. Went from there, and then probably about 6 months into that, Tom, I don't know if you guys know him, offered me to go up to London.
Yeah.
Off I went, and then that's where everything kind of...
So Jay, do you know who Tom is?
I have no clue who Tom is.
Well, Jay, it's your story.
So a lot of you are probably listening. Thomas Nagy is... he used to do a lot of YouTube. He's been a bit inconsistent with it, but he was one of the biggest at the time. He's obviously been overtaken.
The OG, really.
Yeah, and his content was insane. But yeah, he offered me a job up there, worked for him for about 9 months, and yeah, come back. So I was obviously in Wales, travelling up and down constantly. And
so you didn't stay in London?
No, I was travelling up, not every day, weekly.
Right, yeah. Oh, I see. So you're staying down in the week, come back on a weekend?
Yeah, basically. So I was leaving like 4 o'clock Monday morning, getting back like 6 o'clock Friday evening. So it's like, it was long. But yeah, and it started all my own YouTube, Instagram, TikTok.
Just that, it's easy as pie. See, we actually put a lot of effort into ours, and I've never had 100k on anything.
I have to ask the question here. So, like you said before, it started off with just a pencil.
Yeah.
And it got 100k views. Was there anything crazy that happened in the video, or
nothing?
Special kind of pencil?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like it was. I didn't even expect it to get loads of views. It was literally just recording a brand new pencil, and it had 100k views. I was like, oh, I'll do some more videos, and it just carried on. I was uploading daily. So I had loads of tools at this time, so I had loads of videos I could do. Yeah. Now it's getting to a point where I've done all my tools now.
Anyone got any new tools they want to send, Jay? Like, you need some new videos.
Yeah, but no, that's literally how it started. And then I was enjoying it. Obviously, I would never have thought I would have been in front of a camera at that time either. Never showed my face.
So how old were you when you took the job in London then?
23.
So that's quite a big thing for most sort of 22, 23-year-olds. Had you left Wales before that?
No.
So you just straight up from... So whereabouts in Wales do you live?
Cumbraen at the time, yeah.
Right. So you just thought, lad from Cumbraen, 22.
I was very shy, very liked where I lived, wouldn't, go out, and it was just... I used to watch Tom myself, so probably a bit of a fanboy kind of thing at the time, but...
Do you think you'd have taken the job if he hadn't, you didn't know him, have that familiarity with him a little bit, or...?
No, definitely not.
No? So someone just called you up, like... Janai Electrical.
It was all from a board.
Be a crap company, by the way.
It'd be awesome. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, it was literally all from a fuse board I'd done. I messaged him and I was like, if you ever look for someone, hit me up, whatever. Oh no, that's a lie. No, he hit me up after seeing the board, so I tagged him in it, and he said, if you ever want a job, let me know, blah blah blah. I said, I can't, got a kid, responsibilities, blah blah blah. Never done it. A year later, I was getting a bit fed up where I was working. I dropped a message. He's like, funny enough, we're employing, come up.
There you go.
And that was it.
Nice history.
Yeah.
So was it like working with someone, obviously, when you've seen his socials and everything else, and you kind of got obviously an image in your mind of what that looks like probably before you turned up here and realised, well, wow, this is pretty much a shed. But did it meet expectations, like working in London, being home, away from home, young lad, all that sort of stuff, or was it a bit like, this isn't all apples and pears?
It's not overwhelming. You just take every day as it kind of come.
Yeah.
So it's not nothing. Meeting Tom, he's nice. I mean, he's nice. He is on videos. Obviously, you see the stress side of him. You see the other side of him. But yeah, and it was sound, to be fair. And people up there were wicked. London is a different story in general. Yeah. But
what do you mean?
It's not for me. That's just
that's why we don't live there anymore.
I think you got you've got to be that kind of person who wants to live in London and enjoys the kind of city life to live there.
Yeah, I mean, every time I go back now, I mean, no disrespect to anyone who still lives there or anything else, I enjoy visiting because I can leave. But it takes me twice as long to get out there as it usually does. And considering we've got 20-mile-an-hour speed limits in Wales now, I still get around London slower than you do Wales. But yeah. So, what about electrically then? Obviously, you were, what, 25? Jay, you guessed that right. It's 25. Okay. So you've not had really... You've had quite a baptism of fire, really, haven't you? So you're quite, I would say, personally, you're further along than most 25-year-olds. You're self-employed?
Yeah. Sole trader, same kind of
thing. Obviously, you've worked away. Yeah. You've built this online brand, a presence. People would recognise you at a trade show. Yeah. There you go. I seen it at the Super Rod stand at was it CF Live?
CF Live, yeah. That was weird. That was like being not recognised, but like people, I watch your videos and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean?
It was the first time it happened to me, wasn't it?
Oh, with the CF Live.
I mean, no one knows who Jay is.
I was just there. Happy to be invited.
Well, we weren't invited, were we? We had the gate crash. CF didn't invite us. Didn't even get a chance. No, they didn't. But yeah, so like most 25-year-olds haven't done half of that really. So what'd you put that down to?
Bit of everything. Luck, motivation, like being motivated to do stuff, work hard, being passionate at what you do. I like my job, so I think that makes it 10 times easier. Yeah, like I had a bit of luck. Obviously, working for Tom, it boosted my kind of socials. Obviously, I'm not denying I'd probably be nowhere near where I was now if it wasn't for Tom. That's obvious. But yeah, I think obviously I've worked hard. I'm still uploading every day. I'm still learning every day about electric. So yeah, I think it's just a bit of general everything.
Yeah. There you go. Up to you, Jim.
Well, a question on this one, right? So obviously you're an electrician by trade and you've got the social media platform now.
Yeah.
In which your profile, quite a few people know you. How do you find yourself balancing it in terms of obviously being an electrician and then being this kind of electrical celebrity? Is it hard to balance?
No, definitely not a celebrity. No, but it's hard, like timing and recording. Yeah. Like you're concentrating on your job, and some jobs are stressful, and then you think about, I got to record this as well, and a lot lately I have probably slacked off a bit because the role I'm doing at the moment is a lot more stressful in the sense of I got to manage a lot more rather than I'm actually on the tools, so I haven't got time to pick up that camera or whatever. But it's just about balancing it, again, like making sure you've got a couple of videos this week, but always first is your job, I think. Yeah. Okay. People sometimes put the social media in front of their job, but my main thing is the job is first. Like get that job done. If you've got time to get a recording, fine. Do not record if you're up against it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of electricians who would like to be the other way around, but I just don't think there's a time in it. There's a few out there that can I think prioritize that social side of things and posting their work. Like R. Davis, for example, Bundys of the world, where they are a production company that's an electrician at that point. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't always like that, far from it, and they've worked hard to get there. But I think there's very few, out there at the moment that could probably go, well, I can do 50-50 or even,
Well, their numbers are crazy. Like we're talking different scale of
100%,
numbers. Do you know what I mean? And different numbers in total. But I think I'm like below that, where I work 4 days a week and 1 day on social media and newsletter. And that's still hard. I still find, timing is still hard to get the videos out, to sort the newsletter out. It is.
Yeah, I want to touch on the newsletter because I remember when you first did that and you contacted me about it, I thought that was awesome. And again, I think it's more tailored to probably younger electricians for tips and tricks and things like that. And like, look, did you do something about being a good apprentice as well and tips for apprentices and things?
It's definitely more towards, because the knowledge has come from me, and I'm not going to sit here and say I know everything about electric, so I can't give like advice or tips on something to a 40-year experience Spark. So I haven't got that myself.
Not all experience is good experience.
People are very knowledgeable. So yeah, at the moment it's definitely more towards apprentices or new people to the game, but that's not the aim of it. We want to get it so everyone can benefit from it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I really like that. And when we saying to Jay, when we set the podcast up, and even our channel but it's not really marketing. It's something where we can educate. It's about, if you can give something back, and we were talking about it before the shooting, you can give something back and you add value to people. It just transcends better. You leave more behind than you take. I think it's awesome.
Right, so James, just next question: what is your favourite social media and why?
And why? Sing the question.
I always say
not?
this. They've all got different attributes.
Okay.
So,
So TikTok then, for
TikTok
instance.
is more for just everyday. I'll upload kind of anything on TikTok. So people scrolling, lying in bed or whatever. They just want to kind of see anything that's satisfying or a bit of knowledge or whatever. Instagram, I find, is a bit more professional.
Okay.
I try and keep it more like educational or better videos as such. And YouTube, that's where I keep it as professional as I can and more towards my business, like advertisement kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I find YouTube's more engaging in terms, like, you get, like, on TikTok you'll get anyone commenting nonsense. Instagram's a bit better.
TikTok's that platform that you post something and then you ignore it.
Yeah.
Because I remember you had something similar.
Because I take it all personally. So anyone watching this now or listening, be nice. Analytics are fantastic. We can track exactly where you live. No, honestly, I went for a stage where when we first started a YouTube channel, and I'd look at the comments and come through, I'd be like, I wouldn't be able to sleep. I'd be shaking like, who is this guy? It takes some development of thicker skin, I think, after a while.
But like YouTube, I'll read almost any comment because people are genuine on. Well, I find anyway on YouTube compared to like TikTok. But favorite, I have to say TikTok because that's where I upload most of my videos, and that's where.
But your following on TikTok's massive now, isn't it?
73,000. Yeah.
Wow.
But it is easier to grow on TikTok than it is the other platforms as well.
Yeah, it does seem to be. But then, I mean, what I find with TikTok, I mean, I know I'm old, right? But I find it very difficult. I look at it and the whole thing just is just so noisy. It's like, wow, what's going on? But there doesn't seem to be a pattern. So we'll put something up, a really good view account, and then I'll put something very similar up. And like 400 people see it. I've never, Instagram, I think we've got a better hold on. YouTube are quite okay with. We're not creating content in the same way that a lot of like content creators are. So for what we put out, I'm quite happy with it. But Instagram's where we do most of our damage, if you like, where we get most of our awareness from and stuff. But I cannot get my head around TikTok and what works, why it doesn't. Is it literally, did you just hitting hope, or does it?
No, I'm starting to understand it a bit more now. Like, I know when a video will do better than another video. Right. At the start, it was just pure luck. When I'd upload a video, I'm like, I don't know whether that's going to do well.
Okay.
But I could tell you now, if I was to upload my next video, what kind of range it's going to get in. Obviously, I'm not spot on everyone, but I kind of get.
Is that based on like when you post it, what the content is, or?
Probably. There is probably an element to like, you should post at this time. I don't look into that too much.
Yeah.
Right.
It's more down to the type of people on. You need to make it more satisfying on TikTok. You need to make it more either very beneficial or very satisfying. It's kind of the way that's worked for me.
Okay, so when you say satisfying, just elaborate on that.
So I do a lot of like, if I'm fitting, like I just done one now, an outside socket. So I made like very like clunky, like ASMR kind of.
Right, I know what you're talking about.
Very satisfying. Or I done another one the other day about a leakage current.
Yes.
Right, people are going to benefit from that. So it's kind of those videos that are working for me, but I know other people like OM Electrical, he does Day in the Life, and that works for him. So it's kind of just finding what your viewers are watching and then making that content.
It's just some of them, like I know it's eFix have started doing a lot, haven't they, where it's just seems they're doing something and always taking something out of a packet and it's all, and there's so much noise to it. It fries me. As soon as I see it, I'm like, I've got to get off the screen.
Some people find that very like
love it, don't they?
Satisfying.
Yeah,
is that what ASMR is? Isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know what the actual term is, but that's why I go off.
Yeah. My youngest daughter, she loves it. She's sitting like she watches YouTubers and just crinkle stuff down on mic.
Yeah, I can do that.
It breaks me.
Not for me.
But not for me. No, not at all. So do you think? Do you get a lot of work off of socials?
When I was uploading to YouTube more consistently, I did.
Right.
Nothing off TikTok, the odd Instagram. But I don't upload to YouTube more consistent enough to get work from it.
Is that because it takes a lot longer, doesn't it? I mean, you do a 10, 15-minute video, you're usually talking at least 2-3 hours of editing. Yeah. And then,
It is something I want to get back into. Like, you see some of the guys now, like OY Electrical, the production value of it and the entertainment.
Corey's taken that to a bit of a different level.
And you can't match it.
Absolutely not.
For like even the arts and guys, if I make a video, there's been many videos I haven't uploaded because I'm like, why would someone watch that over that? Do you know what I mean? And so I gotta just start uploading probably and just be who I am. And if it's not the production value of this, does it really matter? Probably not.
No, I mean, we were having a chat off camera, like
Yeah.
Dave Savo. We both love his content.
Yeah.
Absolutely love his content. But, I mean, you know, he's filming most of that on a GoPro,
Yeah.
in his man cave. And it's fantastic. And even the stuff he does when he goes out to trade shows and things like that, and that's not done to the same production level. So I do think there's, you know, we all enjoy different types of content and that. But I think, like the big one, like Corey does. If the BBC don't approach Corey at some point next year, I'd be shocked. Right? I mean, I'd rather watch him.
Got some good
I'd rather
videos.
watch him than DIY SOS. You see that one he done for that woman's like restaurant, shot done by a dodgy builder.
No.
So a couple of the guys went down there. We actually sent them a board for it.
Oh, okay.
And he got a load of other manufacturers that helped out, and Bits and JCC, I think, were one, and a few others. It's fantastic. And he did like his own DIY SOS project, which was far more entertaining than any DIY SOS project I've seen in 10 years.
It's kind of, it is insane. Like,
Yeah. I mean, he goes about it properly. Do you know what I mean? He gets a proper videographer and everything else. He really does think about it a lot. But the work is also good as well, which helps.
Yeah.
Like, you know, people I think will forgive a grainy camera, but if you put in dodgy work out there, and it's just, we are one industry. We crucify each other for just the smallest. I can do a little bit of copper. Like, it's not necessarily always the most supportive.
Yeah. So, I mean, just what advice would you give to like the young electrician who was looking to go down a similar route to yourself? So, if they're looking at the social media channels, is there any one specific that you would say, I'd go for this one first?
Start them all. Start them all. Why not? They've all got shorts. You can upload them to all of them, or upload the same short to every single one. But I can't stress enough, everyone needs to start their own social media. You don't have to be a face in it. Just start uploading what you do, because you're building a platform. I like to look at my profiles now as like a CV. I'm hoping I'll never have to write a CV again. I'll go, look, there's my social media platform. See who I am. This is my work. That's kind of it. Do you really need me to write a A4 document on what I do?
I actually think you hit it nail on the head there, because I actually think that gives you more insight into someone's work. And the other thing as well is, if you're posting your work, you're going to take more care on it.
Yeah,
because if you're going to put your work in the public sphere and you got the balls to do it, an potential employer is going to look at that and think, okay, like I say, the board you did of ours, was shown him beforehand. So Paul sent me, someone in China's got hold of that video and reposted it on the Chinese TikTok. It's his install. It was probably one of the best installs.
No bias.
That was the best board and best install. Go team. But no, all jokes aside, like, I think that's right. And when you're putting that out there, that tells you more about someone's credibility than reading off a CV. I mean, the first thing, you know, even in an office environment, the first thing someone does is check someone's LinkedIn, isn't it?
Yeah,
and that really doesn't say nothing either. Everything's amazing on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
I just think it's
that's
so
the only
important.
profile I'd tell an electrician not to bother with.
What, LinkedIn? Yeah.
So every apprentice, they have to do a portfolio in college.
Yeah.
So why not upload what you're doing to your Instagram as an apprentice and just start, getting it out there and just building a name for yourself. You don't have to get thousands of followers, but you got some sort of profile or whatever for the future. You just keep uploading. Eventually, you've just got a full CV, but in social media kind of platform.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, actually. And maybe colleges and training places should look at that, because another thing is, most people now, I mean, back in the day, and not in our day, thankfully, we're not that old, would go Yellow Pages, right? And then before that, you know, be a Google type thing, and everything. Still, most people of a particular age who need work done on the home are going to check Facebook.
Yeah.
Right. So if I said to the missus, for example, babe, we need a board change. We need to get a local electrician. We did the same thing for a tiler when we got the floor tiled. Right. She went on there. We've got, like, most areas do, like, some kind of community type Facebook page, right? Anyone recommend a tiler? And a guy called Tyler, actually, believe it or not, Tyler the Tiler, came and did our tile. Fantastic.
Ironic.
Yeah. But guess what? His Facebook page was there, which was linked to his Instagram page. So every time he uploaded something to Instagram, it went on to his Facebook page. So when someone tagged him in it, she clicked on that profile. There you go. Seen it. What do you think of this? Yep, really, really good. What do you think of the price? Ooh. But we did it anyway. You do what you're told, don't you? Happy wife, happy life.
Thing is, I guarantee as well, if I wrote a CV, it would be absolutely shocking. It would be terrible. No one would ever employ me.
That's why I'd start my own business.
But it is so important now. Social media, whether you like it or you don't, it's the way of life.
No, it is. I think social media now is more of an illustration of the state of the internet rather than a media platform, because it's the only real, apart from your emails and website and e-commerce types. But most people interact with the internet through social media.
Yeah.
Right. It's the current state of the internet. That's where people are getting all their information from. I mean, most people are making their political decisions based on what they see on a social platform. So to ignore it, I mean, if politicians aren't ignoring it, and things like that, like why would we at our level ignore it? I think it's absolutely crazy.
Fair play. Well, before we forget, sponsor.
They don't sponsor us. You got to pay me to sponsor me.
Whatever.
No. Well done. Yeah. No. So I brought the hanger product back on, not because of any, for no other reason. And I thought James had fitted it. So when he came on, I asked him if he had, and it turns out you have used it, haven't you?
Yeah, I've used it once. Yeah, it is decent. It's like, I find it be the best if you use it if you're working on ladders. You don't want to be up and down the ladders all the time. If anyone changing the board like I do, my ladders end up full of stuff on top of stuff. You start balancing up, So it is good just to keep your tools you're working on the board, and then your other bits on the ladders. So yeah, it's nice. It's just a nice little tool to add to the van. Keep it on the back of the van if you're doing a board change. Chuck it on.
Yeah, I think there might be a discount code available. If there is, just check the show notes afterwards. I'll put it in there. If there's not, sorry. But yeah, no, just again, we like the story. Two Sparks developed something for the industry I think helps. I think it'll take out things like back strain and injuries and stuff from going up and down ladders, bending down, tool belts, things like that. They're just trying to bring something to market that they think helps. And guys, if you have a product, or you're a small startup company, you don't have a massive marketing budget that you can't afford to spend thousands on a publication or anything else, send your product in. We're not the biggest platform in the world, but we don't mind showcasing stuff that we think helps the industry. That's what we're all about. So send it in. We'll give it a once over. If we don't like it, we'll tell you before we won't slander your product. Don't panic. But yeah, put it on and just use it as a bit of a free platform to see if a few more eyeballs might see your products. So just get in touch. Talk up at versoelectrical.co.uk and we'll have a chat.
You're going to just get sent loads of stuff now.
Just anything.
Yeah, while shows spaces last.
Electrical stuff as well.
Yeah. I'm not. Yeah, I don't want any toilets or any other sort of plumbing and stuff. I keep
you review this new toilet paper?
I keep taking digs at plumbers. I don't know why.
You keep going what?
I keep making digs at plumbers. I'm not sure why.
I don't think you like them.
No, I don't like plumbers that become electricians after a weekend course. That's what I don't like. They annoy me.
That's a topic for another day.
Yeah.
Let's move forward.
EV charging companies.
So, question that myself and Will were talking about before, obviously you came on. Domestic or commercial? What do you prefer?
Oh, this is not even a question for me. It's like, I cannot stand domestic.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I just hate it.
What do you hate about it?
It's just not worth it for me. For me, it's just not worth it. From my background, my whole apprenticeship was commercial industrial.
Right, okay.
So then I went to London, done domestic. It's a graft. Like, it is a graft. Like, you got to work your socks off, and then you're up in attics, you're crawling around installation, choking on insulation. Like, so what's for dinner? Insulation. And it's just, everything's hassle. Customers are hassle. And it's just, you go to commercial. If you do convert from domestic to commercial, it's a big difference if you haven't done it before, and there's a lot to learn. It's like two separate kind of courses. It should be in my eyes anyway, but that's another thing. But it's just so much easier. Customers are more like, just crack on. You know what you got to do is all being planned out, and you do that, and everything's in front of you. You haven't got to be crawling anywhere. It's just so much easier. And it's more money.
I'm hearing crawling. It's the crawling.
Yeah. I'm hearing graft.
My knees. It's more money in commercial industrial as well.
Yeah.
But it's harder to get into. So to start your own business, you have got to do domestic. And it's who you know is a big thing. But if someone asks me, right, you start a business, you got to work commercial and domestic, definitely commercial.
Okay. So if someone, so say for instance, a young Spark again, would you advise them to train in both domestic and commercial, or just say, look, just stick to one route?
No, you definitely got to get all experience.
Yeah.
100% got to get all experience, because you never know. You can work for a company that does all of it, which is probably a good thing. You've got that mixture of everything. So it breaks up your day. Everything's different. So yeah, you can learn domestic quite quick. Do one house, you can almost do them all.
Okay.
Almost,
within reason, yeah.
Yeah,
no, you're not wrong.
There's a lot more to learn in commercial, industrial, and there's a lot to it. So yeah, if you work for a company that does it all, get your CVs in there. But
a lot of commercial. I mean, commercial is a bit cyclical though, isn't it, in business? Like it's not historically, it's never been as steady as domestic. But I think we were talking about before is like domestically now. I mean, we can see it in certain. Obviously, we only do domestic second fix products. We've seen it in certain areas geographically where it's dried up like a raisin, massively. And you got a lot of electricians going for the same work. Which means you're just ripping the arse out of each other's quotes and everything else. And
we've heard the saying "race to the bottom."
Yeah,
and it's true. It is a race to the bottom.
Yeah, but that filters back down through the wholesaler to the manufacturer. Then, so all of a sudden, we're losing out jobs because people are. I'll just say I don't care. It's my podcast. Using inferior product, right? And it's because it's a quid cheaper. And you think, well, okay, but that's because, like you were saying before, on an invoice to Mr. and Mrs. Jones, every penny is scrutinised. Well, why did you spend that on that? Well, why is that 20 quid? Yeah. Well, I've just seen that on Screwfix for £17. And all of a sudden you start trying to explain the differences of, well, I use that socket because of this rather than that socket. Well, they don't care. What's it? Well, Screwfix is selling it. It's fine.
Yeah.
I've had customers who's moaned about like a 30 quid invoice. I'm like, I just don't need this. You can go to commercial and you like 600 quid won't even get moaned at. Like, it's just so the level, because in commercial people get budgets.
Yeah.
And they get set amounts they can spend. So if you give them a quote and they're happy with it, job's done. Do you know what I mean? We're domestic people. Obviously, money is tight, and in domestic, it is people's own money. And they, 30 quid, if they want to save 30 quid, they're going to moan about, I want that product, It's just a lot more hassle for what it's worth, in my opinion.
Do you have to travel more with commercial, though, than you do domestic?
It all depends. From what I'm doing at the moment, I don't have to travel no more than an hour.
Okay. Well, that's not too bad.
But yeah, it depends what company you work for, and so yeah.
Well, there you go. Career change for me then.
We need you here, bud.
Oh, thanks.
It's different for everyone. Everyone has a different opinion. People will probably love domestic more than commercial, but that's just my opinion and what I've experienced.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people that because from a domestic situation, like you can pick up 2 or 3 jobs in a day. And you can rack up quite a bit of cash, and because you can you're starting at 60 quid before you change your light fitting, right? And then you can scale that up. Then if you can put 5 or 6 of those in a day, it's 100 quid a time. It's a good day.
Yeah.
And I think as well, like you were saying before, there's a lower barrier to entry into domestic. You don't need as many tools. You don't need as much time. You definitely don't need as much money. And like you were saying, if you want to start by yourself. Commercially, there's different insurances. It's a whole different bag. It's a whole different bag.
I was obviously speaking off camera. I'd love to have my own company commercial, but it's almost impossible for me. Not impossible, but you need a lot of money behind you. You need to know people. You've got to know maintenance managers who are getting in the work. Sometimes it can be very clicky. You find with like factories and stuff.
Right, okay.
Who they know, they're going to get in their mates and stuff like that. So it's just a hard kind of thing to get into.
It's no different in manufacturing. Like we try and approach certain wholesalers, and it's like, oh no, there's the politics in it is absolutely mental. But yeah, domestically though, it does seem like because you're dealing with an end user, you're not dealing with politics really. There are you just someone's looking for you because they need something doing.
Yeah, someone's just looking for an electrician. They look on Facebook or
So,
whatever
yeah.
and get a couple of quotes or whatever, and then
they buy their Verso consumer unit and live happily ever after. That's it.
Right, so just moving on, we're going to go into the questions. So
Questions?
Huh?
Oh, the Q&A section.
The Q&A
Oh,
section. Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll call it the Q&A section.
The questions.
Sorry.
Well,
the questions.
They're all questions.
Yes. Right.
You got some good ones this time.
I have indeed. I don't know if I've got the name for the first one, though.
We'll put the names in the show notes again.
Did that happen last time?
Yeah. Nonny 1 and Nonny 2.
And oh my God, yeah, a nonny.
Right, first one. So this one goes out to you, James. What is your biggest regret in business?
That's a tough one.
Going on this podcast.
Oh, that's second, mate.
Nah, it is a hard one. I should have left the company, my first company, where I'm back at now. But anyway, that's another thing. Sooner than when I did. I was enclosed in a bubble where I didn't know what was outside. Because I left school, joined the same company. I was there for like 5 years, and then went with Tom, and it kind of opened my eyes up a lot.
Yeah.
And you see a lot more. So I was kind of like enclosed into one thing. So I should have left earlier and got more experience elsewhere on different things. I think that was my regret, but I didn't know it was a regret until now.
Yeah, well, hindsight's 20/20, isn't it?
It wasn't like a decision I had to make. It's just I didn't know.
Yeah, but I think that's common. Most people get caught in like a comfort zone.
Yeah.
And then there's that fear of leaving something behind, right? So it's like, well, hang on, there's nothing really wrong with this. I'm quite comfortable with this. Why would I do it? And I think that stops a lot of people having a crack at anything really. And it's not until you do something. And but to be fair, you went from not to going to London,
Yeah.
which is fairly extreme. But yeah, and you look back and think, oh, do you know what? I could have done that earlier. Yeah, I think that about starting this. I think that about a lot of opportunities that I've taken or had to take. Oh, this channel. I've been on about doing this channel for. I've lost count. About how long have I want to do this podcast for?
Quite a few years.
Yeah, and it's just and little things are always a reason why not, and sometimes a confidence thing. And but again, you're only 25. Like I was saying to you before, I think what you've achieved in such a short space of time is absolutely mental. Again, most kids are still at the same place where they just finished their apprenticeship, or some even haven't.
Yeah, but everyone's got plenty of time. Like,
yeah.
Do you know what I
But
mean?
quick question though on that one, James. Sorry to stop you. Like obviously you said that you were in a bubble for a period of time. Do you think if you'd taken the risk or the plunge sooner, you would have been ready?
Don't know. Where I was working, I learned a lot off the supervisor. He was good. So I did gain a lot of experience. What I mean, like I was working weekends. I was working months straight at sometimes. Weekends, and you thought, oh, you have to do it. But no, you don't have to do it. I didn't know this until I'd gone, the kind of thing. So there was a lot of things like that. But yeah, I don't know. That's a difficult one. But yeah.
Fair play. Will, do you want to answer it? Your biggest regret? Don't say me, mate.
My biggest regret. God, there's a few. Probably. I don't know if it's a regret. I'd have liked to have handled my situation at Edmondson's better. My exit from Edmondson's better. But that led me to setting this up. So it's tough, really. It's tough to have regrets. I mean, I'm quite. Up until I had my wife and my kids, I've always been quite self-centered. So it's always been like I've always had a bit of a self-belief of if I always do what I want to do in that moment, or what I really want to do, then regret's pointless, because if you ever go back and at that moment again, that'd still be what you want to do most at that time. So you just repeat it. So I've always made a decision in a moment based on what I really wanted to do, rather than worrying about a consequence of it too tough, which has not always worked out in my favour. But no, I think there's definitely product decisions I've made at PremSpec that I wish I hadn't, like going into decorative accessories, followed by flat plate decorative, followed by screwless decorative, followed by metal clad, followed by IP. That was dumb.
Why?
Why? Because the sheer amount of money I spent. Because the thing is with switches and sockets, like our white plastic range has 170 SKUs.
It's 100 plus SKUs.
It's ridiculous, right? So you got, and each one of those, when you especially when you buy them off a shelf, when you're importing like we used to do, like there's an MOQ factor to it. So for example, you might have like a coax outlet. Okay, you have to buy a minimum of 300 units. Right now, how many coax outlets in your domestic experience did you put per house?
Can't even remember doing one. Right,
there you go. So, but if you don't have the full range, wholesalers won't stock it, just in case you do come in and ask for one. So I've got to buy 300. Now, I multiply that mistake by going into decorative. So now I've got satin steel, for example. Well, satin steel has 2 color inserts, white and black. So now I have 600 in that finish. And then, we did that in 4 finishes. And then I did it in flat plate. And then I did it in screwless flat plate. And I did all that because I was taking input from people within the business, key decision makers within the business at the time, who told me that would be a good idea, that would be a good idea. And I didn't have the confidence at the time. I was, mid-20s, it was about your age, to be fair, with this opportunity to start this multi-million-pound company, not using my money. So I was very much like, well, if that's what you want, that's what we'll do. And in my mind, knowing that actually what I want to do is what we now do, and that is a better business model. And unfortunately, we lost a lot of money on that. So for me, again, but then I wasn't. If I hadn't learned all those mistakes from some of the products that were thrust upon us, then I wouldn't have been able to build the Verso brand. I wouldn't have been able to design that board as well as I had. So I think, regret is a strong word. I think you only regret is if you make a habit of making mistakes, and then I think regret comes from blaming other people, blaming circumstance. Whereas if you look at something goes wrong and you think, do you know what, that was on me, so now I can learn on it. Now it's a lesson. It's hard to regret it then, because you've grown, you've become better, and you make better decisions.
Learn from your mistakes.
Yeah, if you keep doing it, then it becomes regretful, doesn't it? So that's a bit deep. There you go. Nice one. There we are. What about you, Jay? Go on. You got to have loads of regrets.
Oh, damn. That green hoodie with the green back there.
Yeah, come dressed as a tennis ball.
Biggest regret.
Thanks, Peter Ray.
I'll be honest, actually, it'd probably be actually quite similar to yourself, but I think I was actually ready at the time. So prior to working for, the Premspec Group, I was working at BAE Systems.
Yeah.
And I think for the last year or 2 years, I was like, not really. It was no disrespect to the people there. Lovely people. The work was quite mundane. It was quite repetitive. Anyone could really do it, if I'm being honest. It didn't put any pressure on, you trying to grow or anything like that. I think my biggest regret was kind of just sticking there and just going, you know what? All right, this is it. Yeah, I accept it for what it is. Because to be fair, there were some salary improvements that would come into effect 6 to 12 months from then. There was some bonus incentives. But in terms of actually progressing as a person, I just thought, I'm just not moving forward. So I think if I could speak to myself back then, I probably would have said, take the plunge now. Probably not go to Premspec. Probably go somewhere. But yeah, I think I would probably say that was my biggest regret.
I know everyone says that I listen to a lot of podcasts and everyone says take the risk. So, you don't think about it, but sometimes you have got to take that risk, and it does 100%. Pay off, but not all the time it doesn't pay off.
Yeah.
The grass is not always green on the other side.
100%.
It's not, and I think some people do. I mean, Instagram again and social media do have a lot to answer for people taking uncalculated risks. Yeah. That's dumb. Right, I'm going to go start a business. I'm going to do this. Well, you've got no money, you've got no experience, you've got no network.
And you've got 4 kids to look after.
That's it, yeah. So maybe now's not the right time. Maybe go out, find out what you're good at, get some experience in that, learn off other people's and this and the other. I know we've only been as successful as we have in the last 4 or 5 years because of the mistakes I made on the previous 6. But also, having a mentor like Pete Williams, and absorbing everything he'd learned, he knew over 40 years. It gave a 25, 26-year-old that I was at the time that kind of, that experience or access to that level of experience. That was different. That's what enabled us to grow as we have. But yeah, I was going to say, BAE Systems, if I remember rightly, didn't they penalise you for overtime? But they wouldn't let you because you were saying you were working too many hours.
Yeah.
And then you came here and that was never a problem.
No.
Can't give enough hours.
You missed that 35 hours.
That's why you wanted to hire me, wasn't it?
That's right. There you go. You're going to love all this extra work. And you're used to not getting paid for it. So, hey.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it worked. She didn't. I can, upon reflection, I could see what she was trying to say. So basically, she was saying, look, I can see that you're trying to do all this extra work. You're not going to be compensated for it. So why are you still here? So it's not a case of she was trying to be negative to me. I think it was more a case of she's saying, dude, you're doing this in vain. Nothing comes of it. No one's going to give you any extra reward or any extra praise.
She weren't giving you no pay rise.
No.
I don't. Yeah, but to the same sense, I agree with what you're saying because I find whatever you do, that's who you are. So she knows subconsciously, if she ever needs someone who's going to work hard, she's going to go straight to you because she's seeing what you're doing. So I don't think it's a bad thing on doing stuff that doesn't really make sense sometimes, but overall it does make sense.
Yeah. No. I see where you're coming from. It was just one of those. But like I said before, I'm not going to slander BAE, amazing company.
But they're too big to fight, so please.
Yeah. No, they will bury us.
We can't afford that one.
Next question. So this one is from Adam Stewart.
Adam Stewart.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to say it, and then I'm probably going to have to rephrase it so it actually becomes a question. So I have a major grip that BS 7671 was changed, and the test sheets lost the five times RCD test column because Hager RCD didn't trip in 40 ms, but still met 61008. Personally, I would have Hager and 61008 change rather than BS 7671. What's your opinion?
So that you're not going to change a BS standard.
Okay.
Because you're not going to change a BS standard so the IET can govern it. Why did the IET drop the 5 times test? I don't know. I mean, obviously, he reckons it's because Hager's didn't comply. Yeah. I've never done a 5 times test on a Hager product, so I don't know.
Surely they wouldn't drop a test for one brand. That can't be the reason to why that regulation's been dropped. Surely,
I wouldn't know. Look, I mean, if Hager are a massive company, 460 million, global turnover, I think last time. In the UK they do 100 million, don't they? They are well respected. If they've advised that it's not required to whoever makes that decision, I would assume they would take that into consideration. But I don't know what benefit does it? Well, there you're in the perfect position to answer. What benefit does a 5 times test give you on site that you're losing by not putting it in?
Not a lot, really. I know for a thing as well. Does your Verso RCBOs still state to do the 5 times test? So I'll do whatever the manufacturer tells me to do, really.
Yeah, which is to be fair, is an overriding guideline of any BS 7671 standard. So in BS 7671, is a regulation of guidelines on how to complete your work. But in there, it's a lovely big caveat that does state, or to manufacturer's guidelines.
Yeah, so okay. I know, like when most testers, they got auto tests. Yeah. So I'll just do an auto test anyway, so it does 5 times. But I'll just put the times 1 recording into the box on the test form.
Yeah.
So that happens anyway. But I mean, if the times 5 was stupidly high, then I'd probably look into it a little bit. But it depends on the manufacturer, I guess, don't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I mean, it doesn't, just because it's not on the sheet, doesn't stop you from doing your due diligence and testing that device. And if you don't like the result, contacting the manufacturer for some more information. But guys, what do you think? Jump in the comments or get in touch with us on Instagram or on TikTok. You won't be talking to me, you'll be talking to him.
I probably won't reply on TikTok. You better off message me on Instagram.
Yeah, there you go. But no one answers comments on TikTok. I think that's what we're basically saying. But yeah, get hold of us or email us as always. But what do you think about the 5 times test being taken out of the regs? And I can tell you, unfortunately, you're not going to change a BSEN standard. But I will look into the BSEN standard as to why, if the 5 times test sits into it and if it doesn't.
Can I add to it, like the ramp test? Mm-hmm. I don't actually know if we should be doing that test per regulations or manufacturing instructions. I do it again. I do it anyway. Yeah. But is that stated that we should be doing that as well? Because that's not in the tick box.
No.
Or on the test report.
That's a good question.
No, they might. That's a great question, guys. One of you testing buffs. Let's hear from you because that'd be a really. That's a good question. I'm not sure. Well, there you go. Question for your question. There you go. So on the next episode,
thanks,
maybe I should know this.
No, you're industrial. It's fine.
That's it.
That's it. Is it?
Yeah.
No more questions this week.
You want another one?
No. Well, unless you got one. You got one burning?
No, I haven't actually. No.
James, anything from you?
Hopefully you enjoyed the first episode.
Hope you enjoyed the first episode, right.
Who was that, James?
Right, guys, so we do obviously have a competition winner for those who did guess who the guest host was going to be. And the winner is AGR Electrics. Right, guys, so thank you very much for joining us. Don't forget it's available on YouTube and Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and if you want to get involved in the show, please just reach out. We pretty much booked now until end of January, and we will hopefully have our new studio by then as well, which will be really exciting. So thanks very much for that. Thanks for listening. That's all, folks.